Yoshi, everyone's favorite cute little abused dinosaur. Sometimes he's a more than vital companion to the Mario Brothers, and other times he's too scared to do much of anything. Today, we're gonna look at Yoshi's character in every mainline Mario game and rank him from worthless to elite. His debut is in Yoshi, but his Mario debut is in Super Mario World, where he makes a pretty good first impression. Mario and Yoshi are both trying to rescue their friends, and from the moment they meet, Yoshi is a trustworthy sidekick that'll put his life on the line to save his pal. And unlike some later games in the series, you can take him with you to any level you want, even if there's no Yoshi eggs in him. The only exceptions are the ghost houses and castles, because he's too scared to go in with Mario, but any other level's a-okay. That does come at a cost though. You don't get to use his iconic flutter jump. If he had it, it'd probably restrict what levels you can take him in, so I'm fine with it. And he can still eat enemies and spit them out as fireballs, so he has some unique traits and is basically an OP power-up, so he gets solid companion tier. In Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, Yoshi is the main hero. When a baby Mario falls onto his back, he makes it his life mission to protect that baby at all costs and bring him back to his mom and dad. Here, Mario's a bigger liability than Peach has ever been, and that cry is burned into my brain as one of the most annoying sounds in gaming. But even still, Yoshi insists on protecting him against Kamek's forces. This game introduces his flutter jump and the ability to stockpile eggs and launch them at faraway enemies and question marks, which make playing as him feel really distinct from a traditional Mario. It's a no-brainer. Elite! And no, I'm not going to include the rest of the Yoshi's Island games, because 1, they dropped the Super Mario prefix, and 2, because they'd all be elite, man. Who do you think you're kidding? This game barely even features Yoshi. He's not playable, rideable, or anything like that. He sits on top of Peach's castle and gives you 100 extra lives after you beat the game. I'd normally call that pretty freaking useful. I mean, it basically eliminates game overs, but since he only does that after you collect all 120 stars and fully beat the game, there's really no use for him at that point. And knowing he was around this whole time not helping Mario makes this a pretty easy worthless tier. Mario Sunshine is the first 3D Mario game to incorporate Yoshi, and he's pretty useful. After beating Pinna Park Episode 4 and saving the Yoshi egg from Shadow Mario back in the plaza, he becomes fully playable in about half the game's areas, and he's vital to beating certain missions. Instead of spraying water like Mario, he sprays fruit juices that turn enemies into different types of blocks, and it's a weird gimmick, but it helps Mario a good bit, so I'm not complaining. The only downsides are that touching water immediately makes him evaporate, and that he's only usable in a few select episodes. We'll give him limited but useful, because when he's there, he's clutch, but he's not there much. This game corrects all the wrongdoings of the original Mario 64, adding Luigi, not making you play with that god-awful controller, even though this one's somehow worse, but most importantly, by letting you play as Yoshi. Not only that, you can play as him independent from Mario, and he's the first playable character you have access to, so unlocking the plumber himself is reliant on Yoshi, making this unquestionably another elite tier. In New Super Mario Bros. DS, he's not playable at all through the main game. But he does make a playable appearance in a handful of minigames, so he serves some role, but it barely does anything. And yes, I am putting this higher than 64, thank you for noticing. He's not in Super Mario Galaxy, so on to Mario Bros. Wii, where he's brought back to his classic form. He's basically a power-up like he was in Mario World, but he now has his trademark flutter, and because of that, they had to limit his playability to certain levels only, and make Mario leave him at the flagpole at the end of each stage. When he's there, he's useful, not necessary, but it's really not in that many levels, so he'll go limited but useful. Galaxy 2 makes Yoshi one of the big selling points of the game, and incorporates him way more than the previous New Super Mario Bros. Games. Now, you can't take him from one level to the next, unfortunately, but like Sunshine, he's necessary to beat certain levels. And this time around, he has a handful of different upgrades that are really fun to use. One inflates him and carries you through the sky, the Hot Pepper one makes him run at breakneck speeds and up very sloped surfaces, and another lights up paths for you to take. Because of all of that, he earns a slightly higher rating than Sunshine, so we'll put him in solid companion tier. Also, he's used in way more levels, so I think that's a good spot. He gone in New Super Mario Bros. 2 and Mario 3D Land. So on to New Super Mario Bros. U, where he plays the exact same role as he did in Mario Wii. He's there in a couple levels and stays at the flagpole. But the baby Yoshis can be taken into any level that's not a castle, and they're pretty freaking useful. Now, those do make an appearance in Mario World as well, but they wouldn't really raise his ranking at all there. Here, he needs the boost, and the different types offer a ton of variety. The blue ones blow a bunch of bubbles that can kill enemies and serve as temporary platforms, the pink ones can inflate into a balloon and give you more airtime, and the gold ones light up. That combined with regular Yoshi having a decent ranking, brings this one up to solid companion tier. And same story for New Super Luigi U. Yoshi's not in Mario 3D World at all, which sucks, but in Mario Run, he's unlocked pretty early in the game, only requiring 30 yellow and red toads to unlock. And where most characters in the game only have one ability, he has 3. His Flutter Jump, the color affecting which toads you find, and being able to walk on spiked surfaces and enemies. He's got the highest skill ceiling of any character in the game, and that makes him elite in my book. In Mario Odyssey, Yoshi doesn't really do much of anything. He's in a couple levels, and his abilities are needed to clear certain obstacles, but he doesn't actively help Mario. Instead, Mario possesses him, and Yoshi's just lending his body. Pause. So barely does anything. He gone in Bowser's Fury, so on to the most recent Mario platformer, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, where he's basically in easy mode. Not only is he fully playable alongside the rest of the crew, but he can also carry people around like in the old games. He can flutter jump, eat enemies, and doesn't die. He's literally invincible. Now, it does suck that he can't use power-ups, but he's freaking immortal, making this a very easy elite. And since there's not as many mainline games featuring Yoshi, here's a couple current-gen spin-offs too. In the latest Mario Golf, he's a pretty high-tier character. With the game's focus on running after your ball, Yoshi boasts the best speed stat in the game, and with a pretty good special shot, it makes him one of the most appealing character selections. In Smash Ultimate, Yoshi is one of the most annoying characters to face online. Getting turned into an egg is so infuriating, and people only play this character when they know how to absolutely clown on you. Apparently though, he's only considered a somewhat mid-tier character, so we'll put him in the middle. Mario Tennis makes him another mid-tier. Nothing special about him, but he's not a terrible choice. Also, it's tennis, there's not really that many big stat differences. In the most recent update of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Yoshi Teddy Buggy is the most OP combo in the game. That's why you see it online so much. So this one's cake. Elite. And the last bonus game we have is Mario Strikers Battle League, which is the only Mario sports game where he's considered a lower tier. He's not a good scorer and is really high in technique, so he's situational at best, and deserves a barely does anything. And there you have it. Real quick, if you take your Nintendo Switch on the go a lot and wish it was easier to lug around, you gotta ditch that clunky old dock. It's bulky, flimsy, and really doesn't have a good reason to be. And Accelerate Gaming's portable dock is the solution you've been waiting for. It cuts the unnecessary plastic of Nintendo's and gives you a sleek, durable, and very portable alternative. And it's only 20 bucks, so if you want to enhance your Switch setup and support this channel, go grab one now and use code JeremyK to get an additional 10% off your order. There's a very limited amount of uses on that, so redeem it while you can. And if you disagree with me on any of the rankings in this video, leave your takes down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and want to watch more Yoshi slander, check out this video about the Mario World cartoon. I promise you won't be disappointed.